All right, here we are. I think my dog looks really weird right now, but hey, she's sleeping. So I am going to talk about Apollo Neuro again after my 1 month of trying it. Now I have to admit, I did not try it for a full month, and I'll explain why. The Apollo Neuro is an app that is based on the concept of touch and certain vibrations of touch that will theoretically increase your heart rate variability and therefore increase your resilience and calm you and make you feel less reactive and perhaps more likely to respond to stress better and sleep better. So that's what they say. So I really thought I would try it. Now, I need to back up a little bit and say that I do have a type of neuropathy that makes it hard for me to use it in one of the two ways they suggested. There is the suggestion to use this device on the outer part of your ankle so that you will feel the vibrations in the beginning, and then over the next few minutes or so, you tend not to feel it. Now, with neuropathy, I thought because I don't have a very strong sensation of feeling in my legs that I would not use it in my legs. So I didn't. Instead, I used it in the second way they recommended, which was on the inner aspect of my wrist, which incidentally is right over two major nerves in the wrist, which I kind of thought was maybe possibly a good idea because then you could, I don't know, maybe have some kind of enhanced response. I don't know. That's what they said, that the inner aspect of the wrist was an option. So that's what I did. I track my heart rate variability in the morning under very controlled circumstances the same way every day. I have done it for more than 2 years now. So I have a lot of data as to what my normal resilience and heart rate variability is in the morning under these very controlled circumstances. My theory was that if the app did what I wanted it to do, then my general resilience would increase and that perhaps my heart rate variability over time would increase. I also needed to go on the assumption that perhaps they meant just for a short period of time. In other words, would you feel a certain way and have a certain heart rate variability showing maybe more stress or less resilience to stress, and then after using the app or the device for, say, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever, that you would have enhanced sense of maybe calm or some of the effects would be more alert and focused, etc. So I did use the device that way. I did it while I did it just, I basically rested for a few minutes just to let my body equilibrate up to 30 to 60 minutes. Then I measured my heart rate variability, again under controlled circumstances, doing it exactly the same way that I normally do it. And then I used the device, often using the meditation or calm features to see if it really did calm me. And then I measured my heart rate variability again at the end of that session to look for some kind of immediate response. So, a number of things happened. First, I only used the device for 9 days. And I will explain to you why I did that. I was using the device as recommended on my inner wrist. They recommended using before bedtime that maybe it would help you go to sleep faster, and then perhaps sleep better. And my thought was, would it maybe improve my heart rate variability in the morning, etc. On about the seventh day, I went to bed as I normally had. I hadn't really noticed much of anything with regard to my sleep, but I knew that it could take up to a month. And I lay down and I couldn't sleep immediately, but didn't really bother me. My thoughts were in my head, so I thought, okay, this is all right. I could feel the vibrations, but again, they didn't really bother me. It wasn't anything I was concerned about. I knew the device would shut off after 60 minutes if I didn't sleep, and if it took me a couple hours to go to sleep, I wasn't really worried. About 2.5 hours into it, well, I didn't know that it was 2.5 hours. I finally looked and realized that 2.5 hours had gone by. Again, I don't have a set schedule. If I don't sleep immediately, I know I will make up for it at some point. So I'm really not concerned. And I thought, well, geez, this device is going on for a very, very long time. And I touched it and I realized that, oh, I was still feeling it, even though it was not on. Which I thought, oh, well, that's my neuropathy. Because often I will have neuropathy in strange places where I feel sort of a buzzing or tingling or sometimes painful burning sensation. But it wasn't terribly uncomfortable. It was just sort of annoying that it was still there. So I thought, well, I'll just take the device off, and I did. Maybe half hour later, I still felt it. It was kind of starting to agitate me, and I felt it at the point that I had it on my wrist, and not. If I had, say, for example, it was right over the median nerve where I noticed it. And if it were something related to carpal tunnel, I thought, well, I would feel it down onto where the nerve travels, which is typical carpal tunnel symptoms that I sometimes would get. It was not none of that. I felt it at that point and then on up to my elbow. That's just kind of a odd, uncomfortable, tingly, burny feeling, even though nothing was on my wrist. So it had traveled up to my elbow region. And I thought, okay, well, this is ridiculous. So I got up and took the medication that I normally take for neuropathy to try to settle it down, and I did finally sleep. So I sent them a message the next day I tried to call them, and I got the message that, oh, we're busy helping other people, and we will call you back. So I left a message. In the meantime, I wrote it up, what exactly had happened, how I experienced it, and I sent, and they did not respond at all by phone. So I sent them an email saying, okay, this is what I had experienced, and help me figure out where I should put it. Should I put it on the outside of my wrist? Should I put it on my ankle, even though I don't really feel much there? What should I do? What would you recommend? So, anyway, 4 days later, it was Friday, Tuesday. Tuesday, I did get an email. It was strange. I would read it to you verbatim, but I don't really feel like it. Basically, what it said was that I was having phantom vibrations, and that somehow it was related to either being depressed, anxious, or being a doctor. I don't know. They said phantom vibrations were very common in that those three groups of people. I thought that was strange. They knew I was a doctor, but also, why would they throw that in there? And I didn't say anything about being anxious or depressed. I didn't say anything about really having insomnia from the device. I just said I was having insomnia, and these are my symptoms. I didn't even blame the, the device on my insomnia because it really wasn't the issue. The issue was, how do I get this burning sensation which did eventually go away. But how do I get this burning sensation? Given that I had neuropathy, what did they suggest? And instead they said I was crazy. So anyway, but in the meantime, I had tried it on the outer aspect of my wrist. I had tried it on my ankle. And my ankle, I didn't even feel it. I turned it up all the way. I felt nothing. So I thought, well, I don't even notice it. Is it going to help? I did try it a couple nights, and then I was like, okay, enough. So on the ninth day, I did contact someone else there, and I said, I'm just going to return it. You're not giving me advice. And then certainly after they accused me of being depressed or anxious or a doctor, which was right, um, I felt like they weren't really ultimately being very helpful. So I did 9 days worth of data, which is basically roughly a third of when they said I would have experienced a full effect, although they did say some people would feel an effect immediately. While using the device during the day to calm or relax me, I didn't really feel calm or relaxed afterwards. I felt a vague sense of kind of anxiety. I just didn't really feel like it was doing. I'm not sure. I wasn't really feeling very comfortable with it. But again, I thought, well, I'll go with the numbers. So I do have some numbers here. I did experience an increase in my average heart rate variability from 46.4 to 49.9 an hour after using it in different ways, but most of them were either meditation or calm or, getting or relax and unwind, which is a 7.5% increase. I did experience a reduction in my average heart rate during that time from 65 to 67%, or 65 to 67, reverse that, 67 to 65, um, which is a 3% reduction. Although one of them I did have experienced a marked reduction, but I kind of attribute that to finally settling down. I'm not sure the device had much to do with it, but I still threw that in. So then, but in the morning, not so much. I did 1 month of data of my morning heart rate variability, and other measurements of my, sleep quality, et cetera, et cetera. Um, uh, Beforehand, I recorded it from what I had recorded prior to even getting the device, and then the 9 days since. My morning heart rate variability increased by 0.45%, or less than half of a percent. My heart rate reduced by 1.7%, or really less than 2%. I did notice maybe an increase in my total, what's called the total power, which is sort of your ability to handle stress. But again, I didn't experience anything noticeable. So, this is my advice. If you feel okay using a device, I would say sure, use it. Um, if you have a means to check your heart rate variability and it improves during that time, I would say yes. Now, for someone like me who had an issue with using it and then didn't get really any help in uh, in how to use it better, short of what seemed odd to me, then I would say either don't even go there or make use of the return policy, which is that you have 30 days to return it in full. And for me, they did send a postpaid return and did give you my money back in full. So that part was good. In terms of my response to the device, I'm not so sure. And in terms of my experience with the company, that was a no for me. So that's where I was at. Feel free to experiment on your own. I'm not going to necessarily say buy it or don't buy it. I'm just saying this was my experience, and I am happy I tried it. but I'm also not convinced. Thanks. Bye.